Well, here we are again talking a little bit about Brad Underwood and Illinois and transfer portal because, I don't get a lot of comments on videos. I'm not this big time podcast person or, anything like that. But there has been comments on some videos I've put on of Jordan Epps or Jaden Epps, excuse me, and, you know, some transfer portal stuff. RJ Melendez entered the transfer portal as well, and a couple others from Illinois entered the transfer portal. Those two videos particularly have had some people comment and some attack, me personally, or they have some weird comments about what's, their thoughts. And that's what, this is all about. It's all about giving opinions, going back and forth and, everything. And that's why having this podcast, I can do that and people can comment and say those things as well. And it's through text and or message on their comments, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, which I need to learn how to do. And we live in a world where you should be able to have your own opinion, and we have to be able to go back and forth. We have to be able to have conversation or debate and everything else, which is something I need to learn how to do better, of course. I think there's two things that I'll never be able to have a civil conversation on, and I always thought it was, LeBron being better than Kobe and Michael. Nobody will ever convince me of that one. And that pineapple is good on pizza. Those are the couple things that I'm not going to agree with, or you're not going to convince me otherwise. The third one that's slowly starting to arise is Brad Underwood being fired, not fired, and you know all these guys that transfer. It's because of Brad. It's because he doesn't treat the players right. It's because he doesn't coach them right. He yells at them. He does this, and everything else. And so people have commented. I'm going to show some of the comments on the video. So if you're watching the audio, I will read them. But if you're watching the video, you will see them. I don't care. I don't care that I will have them posted up. I do not care what those people think. Because it's public. People can go read the comments anyway. So it does not matter. But before that, to go back to talking about Brad Underwood. Well, I thought it was always Brad Underwood's fault that people transferred. Let's bring up Sky Clark, for example. It is public knowledge. He transferred, I think someone said he played like 5 high schools. Maybe that's true. I know he at least played a 4. He transferred every single year throughout his high school because that's the new wave. That's the new thing everywhere. Everywhere it gets talked about transferring, whether it's public to public school, whether it's private to public, public to private, anything else. I hear that stuff in Illinois, even, but in other states, that is what it is. Public knowledge. Go look at it. Football, basketball, probably baseball. Parents will transfer their kids because they don't like the coach for some reason. They feel like they know better. Different things. So Sky Clark, transfer, transfer, transfer. So we should not be as shocked that he transferred. Could be money, playing time. Maybe he thought he was going to get something else. Maybe he was the locker room problem. Who knows? But he transferred. Now, I already know. Well, Brad should know that when he brings him in, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that was probably a concern. But guess what? The kid could have beat Estem. Things happened outside. This could have been a year where Coach Underwood thought he had a good cohesiveness, because the thing is, when you recruit guys, you are going to trust or somehow that you can get them to mold together. And we talked about where, my friend Logan and Craig that have their own podcast said they think that this was a learning year for Coach Underwood, how to build a roster, try to find the right guys to get together. And coaches can make those kind of mistakes because you're dealing with kids, especially when they're coming out of high school. You're dealing with an 17, 18 to 19-year-old and expecting them to do that. So the Sky Clark thing, transfer this year. We should not be shocked, but they're blaming Underwood for that. I blame how he was able to transfer all years of high school. So not shocked about that. Well, when Curbelo left, he gave Brad Underwood 2 years. He left. People says because they didn't like the way Curbelo's family didn't like Brad Underwood, how they treated him. Adam Miller left after 1 year. That's his fault. Well, Curbelo has posted that he is transferring from St. John's. Now, he's transferring because he got a new head coach, whatever. But guess what? He's transferring. I thought it was Brad Underwood's fault. Okay. Adam Miller posted today. He is entering the transfer portal again, leaving LSU. Well, wait a minute. I thought it was Brad Underwood's fault that they transferred. Hmm, that's interesting. I thought Brad was an asshole. I thought Brad yelled at the players. I thought that's why they transferred. Nothing to do with name, image, and likeness. Nothing to do with looking for the easy way out. Nothing to do with the fact that it's become the new normal to post on there that they've transferred. Um, it's not any of that. It's not any because there's no leadership in the NCAA that stops these people and kids and players from transferring whenever the hell they want. It has nothing to do that college sports has now become a free agency. Now, I've had people comment saying that I don't want players to advocate for themselves and I don't want listen, players can advocate for themselves, they're adults. I want the players to get paid. I want the name, image, and likeness because I want them to get paid. But Coach Leach even said this a couple years ago when you start to go down this road, it will lead to free agency just like the pros. I'm okay with transferring. I'm okay with getting paid, but there has to be regulations on it like everything else. Everything else. I'm not saying that the coach can dictate where they transfer like it used to, because if we remember when they transferred, the coach could put their thumbprint on it. So if you try to transfer within the conference, they were going to say, you ain't going. If you're at Florida, you ain't going to Alabama. Or, oh, you're leaving Alabama to go to Clemson. Nope, we're not doing that. Anything like that. I'm not saying that, but there's got to be regulation. But when Curbelo and Adam Miller are transferring again, I thought that was Brad Underwood's fault. I thought that was their fault. No, it's because this is what they know. This is because of what society has told them. I'm not a parent, but I'm guaranteeing their parents are okay with it. Oh, and let's think about this too. Maybe they talk to other players. Other players start talking. Their agents start talking to people because, believe it or not, these kids have agents in college sports now. If they go to this town or this city, they have the opportunity to make more money because of the name, image, and likeness. Okay, I want them to get paid. I want them to make money. You're seeing kids not going to the pros because they can actually make a lot of money in name, image, and likeness, but without risking going to the NBA worried about their draft status. So I thought it was Brad Underwood's fault that Curbelo left. Well, he's leaving again. I thought it was Brad Underwood's fault that Adam Miller's leaving. Well, there it is again. So you're seeing people that have left Illinois that transferred, and people all of a sudden this year are blaming Underwood. They're leaving again. They're leaving their school again. Again. So I thought it was Brad Underwood's fault. But I thought so. Maybe. I don't know. So you got people that comment and go after me. A couple, which is cool. It's cool. Means I'm pissing people off. Um, so we'll go with this one first. This was a comment on um, the YouTube channel, which is cool. Okay. I don't know if you can read it fully on the video, but we're going to try. So this person said, when I talked about, I believe this was the Jaden Epps one. Can't remember which one this was. So this person said, why do all the Brad backers always mention, I said something about why did Trent Frazier not leave? I say all these stuff. Why do all the Brad Underwood backers mention Trent Frazier? So what? Brad got along with Trent. They have a good relationship, and then he has like the celebration emojis. What about Epps, Adam Miller, Pods, Curbelo, RJ, Lieb, Sky, Perrin? Almost the whole team from last year is gone. TJ Coleman and Mayer gone. You can't win like this. Now Brad has to rebuild a whole team again through the portal. That's not going to cut it. Guys don't like his yelling, belligerent coaching style, and they leave. He's not going to be able to get a good portal players now because the players that left are talking about his behavior to other potential players. He's done. My question is what is taking Josh Whitman so long to get rid of him? He's making $4.6 million a year. That's the seventh highest paid coaching salary in college basketball, which seventh highest paid. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't know if he has stats on that. Brad is now worth $4.6 million a year. Heck, UConn coach is making $2.5 million per year. Okay. We talked about Sky Clark. You're not going to convince me otherwise. He's just a transfer guy. He's going to transfer all the time. We talked about Curbelo. He's a transfer guy because he's transferred, now transferring again. Adam Miller, same thing. I believe Pods, he went off and did his own thing. And all these guys. Now he's claiming that these guys are talking. This guy just was spewing off nonsense. Where is the proof that these players are going around talking about Brad Underwood? You have Shannon Carter that came out and said Brad Underwood was the best coach in the nation. Guys would not stick up for him. Trent Frazier would not stick up for him. Trent Frazier tweeted, "Oh, you guys can just post anything you want on this Twitter app." You know what I mean? So you have guys. So when he talks about Trent Frazier would have left. Well, he says he has a good relationship with him. Okay, that means Trent Frazier knew that transferring is not going to get things done. He knew he could handle Coach Underwood and the way he was coaching because he's mentally tougher than all those other guys. It's not because of Brad Underwood. So that argument right there made no sense to me. So we're going to continue on because we ain't done yet. People watching and listening, we are not done yet. Let's get to the next one. Here's another one. Laughing emoji. You are making every excuse in the book not to blame Brad. The word on the street is players are definitely talking. Brad now has had the reputation among college basketball players that he's an a-hole and not a player-friendly coach. Good luck with trying to get transfers out of the portal. No matter how much name, image, and likeness, they are not coming to Illinois to play for Brad. The players that leave Illinois don't have to talk bad about Brad. When they leave, they are telling you it's Brad by leaving. LOL, Brad blew it. Now he has to rebuild the whole roster again in one offseason. So are you telling me that every single person that enters the transfer portal from their team, that's an immediate thing to the coach, and those players are looking at, well, they're leaving because of the coach? First of all, you don't have any factual evidence here of any player that's talking about that. You have guys defending Brad. So again, this is another guy. It's the same guy. We're talking about one guy here at St. Dominic's Rosary 5035, whatever, on YouTube. And he edited, if you're on the video, you see a lot of these that he edited because the original ones I don't have pictures of. He said things on there like Magnafolk and everything else coming after me, so going about this, like, there's no, like, what? Does he know where Champaign-Urbana is? Maybe there's not a lot of name, image, and likeness stuff there. I don't know. I grew up by Champaign, but I haven't been there in a while. There could be a lot of possibilities for name, image, and likeness, but other places probably have more. So he's a big asshole. Okay. Then why did Kofi come back? Why didn't Trent leave? Why did some of these guys not leave? Why did Coleman Hawkins not leave? Now he's going to the NBA. But Kofi ended up coming back, though. Shannon came out and tweeted that. If people left before this year, why did Mayer decide to go? Shannon, why did he decide to go? Why do you have a guy from Southern Illinois visiting? That's a really good point guard. Like, okay, so you're getting people there. Oh, and we're not done yet. We ain't done yet. We still got to talk about a little more here. Let's present another one from the same lovely person. It's been reported that Adam Miller's family and Epps' family didn't like Brad. Epps' family didn't like the way Brad coached him. It's been reported by Derek Piper from 24/7 Sports. Sky Clark didn't like Brad's coaching. Mayer straight up said in an after-game interview that he doesn't like Brad's coaching style. He lost Orlando, Chin Coleman, and Gentry as assistant coaches in one offseason. Who does that? All I'm saying is there are much better coaches for Illinois than Brad. Proven coaches that have won championships and have success in the NCAA tournament. Illinois can pay a coach $5 million a year. Illinois has brand new multi-million-dollar basketball facility and great image and likeness for players. Why are people acting like Brad Underwood is the last coach on earth Illinois could possibly do any better than Brad? Are you kidding me? Well, who are you going to go hire? So he mentions like the Oregon coach and everything like that. Okay, so you want to fire a guy that's gotten you to the NCAA champion or the NCAA tournament, 4 times. He's getting you 20 win seasons. He's won your regular season Big Ten, a Big Ten tournament. I'm not saying Brad Underwood's the last coach, but you have to be careful because this is a person that has never coached before because they said they were a hothead. There's a comment there about that. He's a hothead who couldn't handle coaching. Um, this person has never coached before. We want to quickly blame the coach. And this is either a person that's not an Illinois fan, and I don't think they are because remember where we come from, that we can't just sit here and say, let's fire him, let's fire him, let's fire him. We're winning games. I don't think the Big Ten was, really strong this year like it has been. We always talk about the Big Ten being a really good basketball conference. I don't think this year was I thought Penn State was tough, all those things. I don't think it was as tough as it normally is. But to go around like this, you're paying him because he was winning Big Ten championships. His Big Ten record has gotten better. He's getting them on the national stage that we can have conversations like this. He talks about losing assistant coaches. People lose assistant coaches all the time, but we want to freak out about this. And remember, we lost assistant coaches. Kofi could have went to Kentucky with the assistant coach, I believe Coleman, who really likes him. He went back to Brad. So what does that say? People lose assistant coaches all the time. Nick Saban loses assistant coaches all the time. People lose assistant coaches. This is just what happens. This is what happens. So this is not a reason to get rid of Underwood. He still has no factual evidence on things. He's talking about 24/7 Sports. I Googled it, and maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot. I'm not going to go listen to all these podcasts to find this. He needs to provide a link, a clip of it, and you can create clips now on YouTube. So he has the way to do this, saying St. Dominic, Rosary, 5035, whatever name that is. Bring me factual evidence. Put a link to the article. I don't remember Matthew Mayer. I remember there was talks with the locker room and everything like that. But if Mayer didn't like Brad's coaching style, he probably just wouldn't have played. So this just makes no sense. And then I'll just show this comment from a different person. Me and this person went at it. I just didn't take enough screenshots of it. But this one where they attack you personally. We talked about Brad Underwood coaching and everything else. This person, autistic berserker, which your name is highly offensive. Like, never say the R word. Don't go after that. Like, I don't understand. Like, put autistic in this. Like, just what are we doing? I feel sorry for any kids that you coach if you coach anything like Brad Underwood. Here's the deal. Anybody out there that has ever watched me coach that listens or watches this, I get after it. I'm going to hoop and holler. I'm going to coach you hard. But here's the deal. I guarantee you, especially the older I've gotten, the kids that I get on and I get after, they understand that it comes out of a place to make them better. They understand that I care about them as people. They understand I'm competitive as a mother effer. And they understand I want them to be competitive. And they understand that I love them. So this person's never coached. They told me in a comment that they're too hot-headed to coach. That's why Brad Underwood shouldn't coach. And he said this. I can handle the other stuff that we were talking about. When person likes this, now this is just a troll. This is just a person to get underneath my skin. And it did a little bit because I've been coaching for football for 13 years. Basketball has been less than that. Track's been less than that. Baseball has been less than that. So this bothered me a little bit. So, just wanted to point this one out. Coaches yell. Go look at Tom Izzo. Just a prime example in the Big Ten. If this person watches the Big Ten, he gets after it. Every coach ever gets after it. I know coaches that don't curse when they coach, but they get after it. They're going to yell at you. That's coaching. Coaching is to get the players to a place that they cannot get themselves. So comments like this just don't mean much to say to get rid of Underwood. Just doesn't, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then to come at me saying that. Um, so people need to know what they're saying. People need to do some research. Now, this is me too. I have to do some research sometimes before I spat out things. Some things are common sense stuff, but maybe you got to have some stuff. Maybe there is an article about Matthew Mayer. I don't quite remember him saying that stuff because I coach basketball. I probably missed it. I don't remember, an article written about, Epps family and stuff like that. Maybe the Illini Choir podcast, whatever talked about it, but I'm not going to go listen to every single episode and sit there to try to do this because just don't have time to do it. Like if you're going to comment something like that, go on the YouTube, find the clip, do it yourself, send it to me, come up with reasons why this is Underwood's fault because these kids are showing you that if they're transferring again, it's not about him all the time. And maybe there is some factual thing of they cannot handle being coached that way. Cool. That does not mean that he's belittling them. It doesn't mean he is calling them this, or that. You watch him. He adjusts his coaching style. He doesn't always do that stuff, but every coach ever does that. What about the Iowa coach? He's the biggest baby there is out there. Every coach yells and gets after it. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. And if you can't understand that, stop watching sports, stop commenting on sports because you don't understand it. You've never coached, or maybe you've never played a sport, or maybe you don't have a sporting family. Because I have friends that didn't really play sports, but their family is all sports, so they understand this. If you don't understand it, stop. Now, I love the comments, keep it coming, but I will say this just don't come after me for my coaching. I'm not obviously not the best coach out there. I am far from it. But I promise you this, a coach out of love to get those guys competitive, to try to get them a better life. And if they can handle me, they can handle anybody. And those kids know this. So, but I thought this was Underwood's fault when we get it back to Illinois. I thought this was Underwood's fault. These kids are showing you that transferring is the new norm. We have allowed it to happen because there's no leadership in NCAA. None. We've allowed this to happen. And we have to try to get a grip back on this to stop this transfer thing over and over and over again. We need some restrictions, but it ain't going to happen until we get some leadership in the NCAA. The NCAA is laughing because they did not want this to happen. They did not want players to get paid. And they said, okay, you want this to happen? They're going to laugh at it. I want them to get paid. I want them to make money. I want them to have opportunities. But this is what college sports are starting to go to. Football and basketball are going to be different with the transfer portal stuff because football, you have to fill more roster spots. There's still a lot of people left in the transfer portal. Basketball, and it was the first thing because everything is driven from football. Basketball, the transfer portal now I think is starting to catch up to the football level. We're going to see how many kids are actually left in the portal and how you're going to build a team. And it's going to have to be these one and done type of things because they're going to bounce around. They didn't win. Because that's the other thing. If they don't win championships, are they just going to leave because they feel like they're going to do it somewhere else? I don't know. There's driving factors other than the coaches. And these people that comment on this, go comment too. I hope you comment on other videos about other coaches that have people leaving. Anytime I see somebody and enter the transfer portal on Twitter, and I don't see them all, I don't see all the reports. I miss them. But every time I see one, I always retweet and I say, well, I thought this only happened to Underwood. I always thought this always happened to him. Just to prove that it's happening to other people. So just be careful what you wish for, Illinois fans, if Brad Underwood does get fired. And let's be careful what we wish for if we run him out of town. Tired of talking about this, but we're just going to keep going. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow around Apple and iTunes, please. The 5-star reviews help out a lot. You don't even have to leave a review. Just hit the 5 stars button. Follow at Coach_Steve72 on Twitter. Thank you guys again for watching and or listening, and we'll see you guys next time.